Hey Jess, happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're eating lots of chocolate or something. I'm celebrating by sitting in my cold room and doing laundry. I'm watching Justified later. Um, I had dinner with Taylor and Zach and Luke and Jack, and the dinner was actually really good tonight in the dining hall, as good as dining hall food could get. Probably the best I've had there. So that was good. They made an effort, and there was cheesecake and stuff. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good, I guess. Um, but yeah, hopefully your dinner or at least your day is better than mine. Um, there was a specific thing that I wanted to tell you about because it made me think of you and you're doing the Crucible and everything right now. We were assigned On the Waterfront, this movie with Marlon Brando, and I think I've seen it before, or I had seen it before, just on TCM or something. Um, but it was very good, and at first I figured we were just assigned to watch it because we were doing scenes from Arthur Miller's play A View from the Bridge, which is about a longshoresman, and he has his wife's Italian relatives come and stay with him illegally so they can get work and feed their families and everything. And it's you'd have to read it to get the whole gist of the play. But I thought that's why we had to watch it because Marlon Brando is a longshoreman and stuff, and it deals with the mob and stuff. But upon further inspection, after watching it and doing a little research, um, this movie was about Marlon Brando having to speak up against the mob and be a squealer, a whistleblower, you know. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Red Scare and McCarthyism and everything, but that's what was going on then. And Arthur Miller was originally the one who wrote the screenplay, and it was titled The Hook, because he and Elia Kazan worked closely together. Elia Kazan being the director of On the Waterfront. But Columbia Pictures wanted Miller to change all of the mob members to communists and have Marlon Brando point them out as communists, and Arthur Miller wouldn't do it because he just wasn't buying into all that crazy Red Scare stuff because it was ridiculous. It ruined people's lives. I'm assuming you're familiar with it, but in the 50s, Joseph McCarthy started this big communist scare, and they made people basically snitch on other people and say these other people are communists, and if you were accused of being communist, that was the worst thing you could ever be accused of, and you could lose your job and your friends and your life in general, or you could snitch on other people if you were accused of being a communist. And there weren't really that many communists in the country, and people were just naming names to name names and get out of it and save their own lives. And so the thing was, Elia Kazan was one of those. He was accused of being a communist, and he had to go in and he named 8 names in the film industry and said, these people are communists. I'm not a communist, but these people are. And one of them was his friend Arthur Miller. And so Arthur Miller had already pulled his script for On the Waterfront. He wouldn't let him use it. But he so he was obviously very upset, and it hurt his career. He was blacklisted and everything. So he wrote A View from the Bridge, which presents Eddie, the main character, as a man who snitches, sort of, an informant, a canary, a squealer, and it represents him in a bad light, like that was a bad thing to do. Whereas On the Waterfront, it's represented with empathy, like he did the right thing to tell the truth or snitch. And it's just really interesting, and that's why Arthur Miller wrote The Crucible. And I already knew that he wrote it during the Red Scare and about the Red Scare, but I thought that would be interesting for you to know. It doesn't really help with your character or anything, but I thought it's fascinating to me, history and the awful things that people do. But anyway, after all of the Red Scare business was over, people hated Elia Kazan. It ruined his career, really. And I don't know how many years back, a few years back, he was given an honorary Oscar. And about half the audience wouldn't stand. In fact, I will include a link in down there in the box down there, and you can watch it, and it's painful to watch because half the audience just won't stand because he did such a bad thing, a cowardly thing to save his own career, and it ended up ruining him. So yeah, that is the story behind The Crucible, and you should look up more on the Red Scare if you're interested in it, because I think it's extremely fascinating. So that's well over 6 minutes now. Long video. I'm sorry, but I hope you're having a lovely Valentine's Day and fabulous rehearsals and just a wonderful time in general. I'm gonna move my laundry and watch Justified. Good night, kiddo. Love ya.